we look at the status of the country economy. And now, inside the studio, I want to welcome with two studio guests. Then I want to welcome the Minister of Finance, Sheku Fantamadi Bangura. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salo.
Good morning, people.
And also one for welcome Minkailu Koroma from the APC National Publicity Secretariat. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, 98.1. Thanks for having me. Delighted to be here.
Okay, the program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and today we look at the status of the country economy, success and challenges them inside the program. As we don't introduce, we studio guest them already, and some 9 months back, the Minister of Finance presented the 2025 budget in Parliament, and the focus of this budget being get key areas them like for reduced inflation, stabilize exchange rates, improve purchasing power for improved living standard of Salon people, manage public finance for create fiscal space, investment in social and economic sector, support feed Salon, invest in infrastructure and other areas them. And 9 months after that, we see the president inside state opening being presents the status of the country economy and what they don't achieve so far. How this the impact on the lives of Salon people and make you get the Minister of Finance inside the program and also the main opposition. I start with you, Sheku Fantamadi Bangra. Yes. Good morning again and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
You get from the honorable, but we go respond to that later. We therefore look at the country economy. Yeah. What are the latest on Salon's economy?
Well, thank you very much. Sorry, let me just get my phone down. Thank you very much, Musa, and thank you, my people. Well, let me say the economy resilient. This Salon economy very resilient, and I use that word day. For so say we're able to withstand boku pressure shocks now, and that's what we done the exhibit over years. When I go present the budget, to the people, I been mixing assumptions about the way the economy before evolve inside 2025. The assumption indeed and based on economic fundamentals. Them fundamentals there. Now, indicators the way they use for know how to manage economy. They got to do with general price of every good and service where people and they either eat or enjoy. It got to do with the currency where now they use to buy the goods and the services. Then it also got to do with the interest rate where now you use for make sure say everybody will want to do business get access to credit from banks. And then also the government itself, the way they manage in your budget. That is how you run the economy, the government itself. And then the way where you go out for take a debt. Yeah, for manage those things. Those are 5 what we call fundamental indicators of the economy. And when you run the budget, you make projections. Now at the end of last year, we'll do the budget. With projections, they'll be very difficult in the sense that we feel say inflation we project out for around 20% inside 2025. Equally so will be the run interest rates at 41% at that time, and then at the same time, with deficit was high around 5%, 5.3%, and then the exchange rate will be expected it will depreciate to around 30 Leone to $1. Now, but in the last 2 years, the job we made on the do, we call out for make sure say you stabilize the macroeconomy, and the stabilization of the macroeconomy, it got for do for make sure say their numbers are where we don't call so. Their number are for they at some low level where the average person where they do business, or the average person where they make a living for predictor, and if for they at a low or stable level. Now, in the work we don't do in the last couple of years and months, we realize say the price, and I know say last 2 years I've been knowing people then they go out and protest a lot. They say the price, what we call inflation, of goods and services. Now, all category of the goods and services over the use into 10 categories, but they call them quake up. 10 categories. Then price and they rather than 20%, We don't see a reduce for the last 2 years from 53.5% thereabouts. It don't go as low as 6.45% at the end of July. That's one big marker, and it is across all the different categories of the way we they measure goods and services. And we don't realize, say, this number firm, and I believe, say, go dey around 5% by the end of the year, because the month-by-month movement of them prices here, they're so low, and they low below 1% for every category of good. So what we see by that is that this thing we call price and inflation, we don't get some proper grip and control over it. That's one. Second, it got to do really with interest rate as well. Interest rates are the cost of loanable funds, the cost of the average businessman for going to a bank for go take loan, or the government itself will raise money for fund in business. Then how much it cost the government for raise that money from the markets and the banks and the people. The interest rate will be 41%. What do we do as of May this year? We make sure, say, we have a proper grip over that particular number there. If interest rates don't drop from 41%, now it is at what we call sustainable levels. It is at 15%, around that 15.1, 15.2, 15.9. That's so it is now week by week. So interest rate don't reach what we call sustainable level of rate of borrowing for government. Yeah, and we ensure, say, this transmits through the way the central bank the measure in what they call multi-policy rate, and the way that they go permeate the rate where commercial banks they begin to give individual businesses the cost of funds for credit. The third component is to do with the currency. The currency, when it's stable, is good for businessman, and because when you go buy good, you get a turnaround time for buy the good reach here, you sell them, and then you will make your returns on, and then you go back, go import and bring income. The currency will be the expected go to 30 million to the dollar. The currency is stable by central bank rates at 22.6 leons to the dollar. Now, and then even the deficit of the government will be there at 5%. With a try for make sure say they are around 3.2%. The standard average is at 3%. Now, the interest rates, inflation for the around 5% for the country. Interest rates, interest rate for the mid-teens, and then equally so, the deficit for the around 3%. The currency for be stable enough for you. So all them three variables here then change, and by my own judgment and my own assessment, I feel so we about for the achieve what we call macroeconomic stability. But now when you hold on they up for a reasonable period of time, predictable, now you confirm say you really don't get grip over the economy. But the numbers they look very good, and in my own judgment, as I explained to the people, the number I tell we say we get very, very solid, stable economy where they manage right now. That is why I take a supplementary budget to government, na parliament, for let them go pass them. Why? Because them in number where I don't project, the number they don't turn out to be far much more good, stronger, better than I be the envisaged before. And when that be the case, you for go back, go seek powers from the parliament. For some say the number that I be project then different now, the number they don't change. So I want to make sure say I get the right powers for do the management of the economy on the revenue I collect and the thing for spend power. Yeah, so this economy is stable. It is resilient, and the resilience is shown in the way we be done rebase the GDP, and the GDP tell we say they will be the expected with the go stronger than the case be.
All right. As you mentioned, say the economy is stable, a resilience, and you don't talk some of the development thing that we don't they happen. But again, somebody go ask say most of them thing there at times not reflect to the ordinary people. But firstly, waiting at the cause we make, as you mentioned, the economy stable. Witness some of the things they want to put in place.
Well, first, na discipline. So the inflation, na discipline, na the Ministry of Finance on the way we they manage the resources we they get and how they spend them. Second, that really interaction between we and the central bank, and on the way the central bank they manage a monetary policy, make sure say it take the decisions for maybe they call it loosening the economy. You find out say the central bank they reduce interest rate now, where they win at the cost of loanable fund, where they match the way the market do. But beyond that, we get proper stability. We'll not get shortages of rice. We'll not get shortages of fuel. We'll not get shortages of flour. We'll not get shortages of sugar. We'll not get shortages of the essential commodity, whether now iron rod or those things people they take for bill. And not only will not get shortages, on then what to call critical, important commodities that were priority commodities in the country, essential commodities. Then prices are low. This is just in the market. These are the average person in yes, and then they affect with all of the economy. Yeah, where yes price go down, all man they feel in holes. Rest with the Gonial is 900 leons wholesale price or 1,000 leons. Now it's around 680, 650, 640 wholesale prices. The retailer go sell and bring the value a little bit for them make profit. But that's why they happen. Whether not fish, na market, pepper, you name them. These goods are out there, and this will they track them on a daily basis and make sure, say, from the Ministry of Trade, we know say whether things there. And it'll tell me about fuel as well. Fuel price will be the regulator. But what will not happen will be the regulator now, because we want to make sure say we not get shortage in the system, and the people that will import fuel in the country, they all try for overprice the fuel where they affect people. Fuel price will not liberalize that market. The price of fuel, you find out say if they can way beyond the price the government will they put at. But that's not what we call a ceiling. You know, they go beyond that. The market, they compete now. Fuel price don't come down across the country, not to one side no more. Across the country, across all the stations. That's how you impact the lives of people. So when you talk with people, they feel them. Now then back market and then they really watch and look at.
Okay. Continue for stay with me inside the program Minister of Finance. So we come as you don't give overview of the economy performance. We look at specific issues within the economy. In him na Sheku Fantamade Bangra in the Minister of Finance. The program na Good Morning Saluni the country from 98.1 FM.
Inside the program we come to other studio guests when I'm in Kailu Kuma and member na the publicity wing na the APC party. Menkailu.
Yes.
How you could describe the country economy at this moment?
Yeah, for summarily describe the country economy at this moment, I would say the country economy they on a life support, and they say this deliberately. I don't carefully listen to me respectable minister. He say we economy resilience, and for we people we don't know what's in our resilience. At least we they listen across the country. Because I know say radio democracy they cater for the least man. The ability for spring back quickly to shape. Now that the resilience mean, or the capacity for recover quickly from difficulty. Like we been get fuel price at 6,000, for example, or we get rest, then they sell on 1,000 for cup. Then skyrocket to 5,000, but for we will bring them back to 1,000 or let the 1,500. It not remain at that 5,000 day. Now the common meaning will people understand by resilience for all come back to shape. We economy are saying in a life support because of many reasons. Firstly, we need for no say government expenditure high, and because government expenditure high, a lot of other areas they starve. The economy, the income will they generate is very low. Quite recently, we see NRA been there on the rampage. We see some business people and then strike some businesswomen and not open the market. Then say na the port or Otu can call what's a key. The tax the way then the tax now for a pull container a boku. That's not the common language of the people. For that reason, we close businesses then. We also need for no say because of this reason, most people now not they even use to port them for bring them goods them. Then they either go use Niger, go Guinea, go Liberia. And for some of who they travel up country, would they meet up then container, then would they meet up truck there where they bring goods to Sierra Leone using other ports now other countries then because of the high taxation and the unfriendly business environment in Sierra Leone. So all of that no problem. The mining inflow also don't drop. One part of the things that will be they giving money in this country, now the money will be they get from mining. Then they don't drop. Diamond exports also don't drop. Income will be the get from Koido Holdings, for example, about $100 million from the supplier of fuel. Then they know the kind side the economy again. All and they don't create problem for the economy. We make the economy day in a life support. We also need for no other reasons. We foreign reserve also don't drop drastically, the lowest ever in 20 years. We currency weak because of the following reasons: the dependency on mineral exports, high inflation, and government or governance challenges in general. We for know all the thing in there, and we also need for know say central bank the credit to government, the credit governments, at a very high rate. Then they also IMF been comment on that and advise central bank on that. We need for know that day. We economy the slowdown, inflation rates, well, it's challenging somehow. We need for also know that the exchange rate is stable for now. That not the truth. I agree with the minister. But again, we need for know say in 2018 we'll be left the exchange rate at 7,600 per the old money, and now waiting at the exchange rate. The one way me change quite recently is about 23,800 per dollar. So you just calculate how many percent increment and it's about 300% from the Teusa who left as a government to who side they now. So if you say we economic resilience, we'll be able to bring down the count down to who side it been there or slightly above than but the difference is too great. 300% increment from that 10 day. In 7 years this happened. Basically, we also need for know say the purchasing power of households then, on imported goods don't reduce. Now, if they say the economy don't stable, everything don't calm down, if you be the give to 70,000 loans for chop money, that 70,000 loans they for able to reduce now to 50,000 loans because the economy don't stable, things that don't calm down. But how things then be they no more trade, now so then they, if you be they buy oil 5,000 loans, now 5,000 loans still the oil day, not to 2,000. If you be they buy pepper, even the local market, the one that they go buy upline, plazas, all things still remain how it been there. The prices are not come down. So the economy, yeah, there is a lot to discuss here.
Yes, of course, there is a lot to discuss. But if you describe the economy as one way they on life support, I want to reference the president in speech now state opening of parliament where he talk about the economy. Where one of the areas them according to the president now that domestic revenue be able to reach 14.6 billion and the fiscal deficit narrow by 4.8 of GDP and public debts reduce through disciplined repayment and exchange rate stability. Somebody go say if these are the indicators of the economy, how you go say it dey on life support if government able pay the loans then we then get and able reduce the inflation from 57 to almost 9.8.
Now, if you me and you today in this country, then in awaiting the presidency, we'll get report there where they can make reference to. We get a lot of IMF reports, World Bank reports from 2024, 2025, where they make reference to for make you say waiting the SFC. These then are the people that will have power way come for analyze countries the economy. Then they work with government as development partners and then they advise government. So when you do study around and report, then they yourself go no say sometimes then they waiting government they say and waiting IMF or World Bank they advise quite different. Equally so waiting me and you to see they see on a daily basis quite different also. And what now transportation from here to Kenema? The price we been there today is still remain even though we say inflation don't drop. We need for know all anything in it. So let's proceed and I will give references to some of them statements they already make. Now we also need for know say even rest how much will be the seller? By 2018 at 200,000 or 250. It increased till it go to 1,000 or and above that. But later because of the intervention of China, it don't go now around 750. But even as that, now how many percent increment Nandi from 2018 to now? It's about 300 to 400% increment. So if you say inflation don't come down, the economy is stable, all of them things and therefore be affected positively. That is what we are saying. We need for know them things and they clearly. We also need for know say in the economy, like I say, we get a lot of reference point there for make where other institutions they don't say. Now let we go to the reference point and for the consumption of the public, because we not just need for sit down. Now waiting is talking about public financial management and governance weaknesses. They say weak revenue mobilization, over reliance on import duties and mining, the low tax compliance and inefficient tax administration. This is an IMF report 2024. Not to Minkailu man said Andy. Corruption and lack of transparency, persistent concerns over procurement processes, mismanagement of public resources, and weak accountability mechanisms. World Bank, now they say this in 2025. Not to Minkailu man said Andy. Now, even quite recently, the minister mentioned budgets, supplementary budgets. When minister follow, the minister is very eloquent at following presentation. But even when you take a look at the supplementary budget, where I get a copy now, go to the appendixes there and see the money no more force now office of the president where they allocate. These are the supplementary budgets. Take a look at and go there. and see what thing they allocate to office of the president. Now we take the money they allocate to other very important ministries, departments, and agencies. You go notice say the money they allocate to the office of the president, we put 3 or 4 together, it pass. And we need for no say the office of the president not to service delivery. Like how you get the Ministry of Health, you get agriculture, they talk about feed salon, you get all anything in the office of the president. Just look 110 under general services, just watch the, you go see a supplementary budget and see the money they allocate to Randy. So we need for know all anything in the what they talk about the economy. So boku challenges and they part the economy. I agree with the minister, say government they try, but the challenges they still there and they are yet to be surmounted. And because they are yet to be surmounted, government need for do a lot. The minister talk about debt. Yeah, let's look at debt and fiscal risks. They say high risks of debt, distress. Public debt remains unstable in the minimum term, with domestic borrowing crowding out private sector investment. This is now World Bank here in 2024. Rising interest payments. Over 40% of domestic revenue goes to service debt, leaving little fiscal space for development spending. This is the IMF here in 2024. Right. So the issues are many on the economy, a lot of challenges.
All right, as you say, the issues are many. We go over to the Minister of Finance, Wena Sheku Fantamari Bangura. You hear from Minkai Lukuma, we are in say, even though government they try, but a lot of challenges, government, they allocate money to, office system, we not to service delivery.
I think it's a beyond, more beyond that. More beyond that. And the economy not on life support. We got a stable economy, properly managed.
What are indicators?
I don't call them. The prices are very low, and prices are measured by economic indicators. If inflation be 55.4%, it is at 6.45%. Well, tell me the difference. And it permeates what we call 10 different categories of the way for measure prices of goods and services, whether I get to do with food or non-food category of goods. All of those, I don't want to say the prices are coming down. And you can take markers. The markers are, take fuel. Fuel, now a very powerful commodity. Rice, now powerful commodity. Each of those 2 type of products I don't talk so, it affects every household. Those prices have stabilized. They don't only stabilize, they don't come down. The price they drop, and people in the feel out of their pocket. So that's one. Second, this economy is stable, and stability na see what you manage over time, right? So to see where you say one off and then they come out like that. So when we use the word say it's stable, if you want to go to a bank and want to go take a loan, or the government want to raise funds, the cost of raising that fund at XCBD 41%, and the price don't come down to the cost of fund at 15%. That tells you, say, for let you go get money in a bank, it's less costly now. Equally so for the currency don't become stable. I say everybody can feel and say, well, you get people that try for whole leons that run for whole dollars. In this economy right now, business people, they only need the dollars, and dollar shortage is not in the economy at all. So I don't listen to my colleague talk about low revenue collection. The reason is very simple. When we base the GDP, it tells you we'll get a larger economy now than we had before. So most of the other indicators, what you call fundamental indication, let's say debt. With debt, overall debt to GDP, it is below 40% as I speak right now, total debt of this country, both domestic and external. It is below 40%, about 39%. That's why it is. But the issue with debt, I can explain that to people that don't understand. The real challenge in the economy, and it's for us to manage, it got to do with the domestic debt. And the domestic debt now we take for fund. The reason is very simple as well. Country overall debt assessment over time, and debt is the accumulation is accumulated over years, not one day. It's over years. Ever since, I would say it even from 1996, we'll get the HIPIC, we'll benefit from HIPIC initiative. When they be the World Bank, IMF, and multilateral institutions, then they actually retrieve we from debt problem, then talk debt restructuring. After that 10 days, we slowly, one government after the other, accumulate debt, but we are doing it purely in a very managed way. Domestic debts now we take for manage the economy. We take debt from within for intermediate with no banks and the people Government they lend money there and then fund the government business. Domestic debt currently is high. It's about 1/3 of the total debt. Well, because interest rate they rise to 41%, we responsibility now for make sure say that cost of servicing the debt as managers of the economy, we try for brank and down. That's not the job of the ministry. That's what we are doing. And we don't demonstrate the result now. Say we put them from 41% now at 15%. We and we partners and say that is deemed to be sustainable. That's what you want. Now, but beyond that, even the current effort at revenue mobilization, it's a process. You get targets the way they set for economies. If a country will collect up to 18% or 15 to 18% of domestic revenue, that country they do very well. Yeah. Right now, as I speak, we're around 9-10%. So we need to make more effort, and the effort they come out of what? Digital. You got to deploy digital systems. You got to block the holes away, side leakages, and in terms of our staff collecting, in terms of administration. You got to make sure say businesses comply for pay debt. They're not like for pay debt, really, generally. I mean, they're not for pay, like for pay tax. You make sure say businesses they block their compliance, they increase their compliance loophole, block the loophole, increase their compliance of pay debt. Well, beyond that, it talks say goods are not account through report. I don't think that's the case. I know that Guinea Conakry next down, the problem we then get with importation of goods, then they use Sierra Leone ports a lot more because of the time it take for efficiently clear good in Guinea. So then they use the port for shipment now. So you realize that most of the goods the way they go to other parts of Guinea, then they pass through Sierra Leone. We're using the port and we're trying to collect revenue from that effort thing. Now there is a lot he said around IMF reports. Being a governor for the IMF, where IMF come on the country, I mean they talk to, yeah, and then talk to every other person. Now me they approve the report within the right. Now me they give them data, now me then they engage. Now me they commit on the government and the performance they will do. The report where IMF write, now advise then they give we on how to stabilize the economy. And as per the advice, the things that I tell the people, and the things that we agree on, then they turn around for good.
So we specifically the advice on our.
Well, no, these are the issues. I tell you, say, we indicators, inflation be high, then we project 20%. It is at 6.45% today. So that's one. Second, then we expect say interest exchange rate for don't depreciate to 30 Leone to the dollar. We keep her at 22.6 Leone official rate to the dollar. Third, then they expect say we for maintain the deficit of this country around 3-point-something%. We go back in this first half of the year, that's what we have actually achieved. I see they compare currency. Okay, they talk about 1,000 leones versus 20 leones. We have a completely renewed environment for currency. We actually do a redenomination of the currency. We get what we call structural break in the way you assess currency. I've been 1,000 the last time. No, teens and 20s we talk about. Very important to have this understanding. When you don't get a structural break, what is happen when we denominate the currency? The currency take a shock. It attain a new equilibrium. That new equilibrium now it take for judge. Now it take for assess the stability of the currency. So those two numbers is comparing are not even in my own judgment. I'm able to understand them by myself. So you're talking about 1,000, and I'm talking about 20, teens, 10. I'm maintaining that value at a stable level. If you change money right now, 20 leones that they talk about, he's talking 1,000, right? So if you exchange buyers at how many 100,000? It was. I'm telling you, you're buying it at below 8,000.
Now,
those numbers will clear to people. It's the stability of that number.
Mr. Minister, look into one thing we mentioned. Now, the issue of the inflation. If you look at the inflation according to the current the current inflation now 9.38 from 54.5. The inflation they go down, but instead I agree say the prices they go down, but not compared to the way it been did before. What are the challenges if the inflation they go down, the prices of things them no they go down to the level of the inflation?
I don't give you numbers. Take fuel. Petroleum is Kikona said the gone wet. There's enough petroleum products in the country. Yeah. Will not get skew, shortage, or anything for petroleum in Sierra Leone. But not only that, the price of petroleum stable and it can down. Yeah, and there are two factors there. The most important one are the currency, way stable, The second important one, now the international price, what they call Platts for fuel. We itself generally is stable. They can't don't self in fact. Now, because the currency is stable and those we track, so they are there. Right, so that's the situation with the economy generally, in terms of how people they feel away from the reports that are written. I mean, they give the numbers.
All right, before we go for break, Mr. Minister, quickly, as you mentioned about importation of rice don't reduce, but some time back when get a 5% import duty on the rice. Almost so far, I don't get that.
It's still 5% or money for gether. I will not give you that upfront, but it's easy to know. These are things we track. I can't take it off my head. They are in the treasury. If by the volume of goods that are imported with the pass-through port, that volume is easy to calculate the duty on rice, and you will know that amount of money is what we use to run the economy. That's how it works. So there's nothing wrong if I can get the NRA. They can catalog that particular information and make them public. This is like collecting taxes. That's basically what it is. Tax are collected, and volume of imports will determine, matched by the 5% import duty on rice times the volume will tell you the amount of money collected by year. That's how it is.
Good morning, Salon. The program where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. If you just join me today, we look at the status of the country economy. We get the Minister of Finance, Sheku Fantamadi Bangura, and also we get Minkailu Kurma from the APC Publicity Secretariat. We look at the economy. And Minkailu, you earlier statement say the Salon economy they on a life support. We according to the minister, this is not to the case, and he give a own point as them. And now he say they get a projection for reduce the inflation to 5.0 by the end of the year. What are some of the things we you make up of the minister's submission and then projections for the economy by the end of the year?
Yes, so we also tell you say we economy on a life support are also advanced justifiable reasons as to why I say so, with references to development partners them waiting they say. I want for also respectfully state this. IMF, I agree say the World Bank, the minister now a governor by virtue of his position we hold like any other finance minister now any other country. Law agree. But law also knows say IMF they give situational report first, then only they advise governmental. They give situational report on the state of the economy, and then from there they advise government based on the situational report where they don't give. Law know than this. So then the state things as they are. They know they micromanage them. Again, the minister talking about the port. I know in any way states say people they use with key with port. I say most people then they prefer for use other countries, and I state the countries then and the reasons why. This discussion now for let people they understand government income and expenditure and how government policies they affect standard of living either positively or negatively. That na me focus na ya. La establish that clearly, and now la proceed. I see you want to ask questions.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So now la proceed. Yeah, I don't state anything in the minister mentioned about an agreement when about that 300 million United States dollar. Now we also know say government expenditure number monthly on salaries for pay salaries them. It's about 33 million United States dollars. So that money now how much than if you divide on something now about 9 months no more you go take care of government expenditure or salaries no more. We need for no thing in it. Then again, law no say government they spend too much. Well, I don't want for call and reckless spending, but I make reference to the supplementary budget. Now we take a look at the supplementary budget, monthly allocation, the money where they allocate to the office of the president, we take medical supplies, you take the security forces, you take education and agriculture, all put together. Only the money they allocate to the office of the president, it pass them money.
And you think say not justifiable? It's
not justifiable because the office of the president not a service delivery institution like we get health. Why are they talking about service like agriculture? We say we want for feed salon. Where the president go, he make a lot of statement then how we want for feed salon. Me and you today in this country, this year juice. Today we say juice how much will be the ban? 3,000, 4,000, go take 5,000. Now, well, it's about 10 or so or 12 leons Now left for use thousands because the minister not look comfortable with them figures. Then they even talk about redenomination. How much now the money will spend for us for redenominates with currency? If you check, it's about $30 million. Now spend for redominates with country, with economy. Now when you take a look at that money, no more government spend. Wait till make the spend now. You want tell me say now for make them just reduce the figures so that way government they spend boku monies and the figures they don't go fearful. Then they get adverse effect on the economy because the money no more for us who they spend for redenominate the currency. Not to be small money. We need for no all anything in it. Now, yeah, you are.
In all of this, waiting at the way forward.
I think say if you allow me for respond to a lot of things the way the minister say, then we go come to the way forward. The way forward simple. If government go by the advice where IMF and World Bank the give, and government be very sincere, the law not put facade on this. If I say inflation don't drop, if I affect me positively, if I be the give 100,000 for chop money in a meals, my wife not go come the other day and tell me say now this money self we the give not do. Pepper don't there and market, oil don't there Adam. Then government they tell me say inflation don't drop, the interest rate don't drop, the economy is stable, we economy resilience. So if we affect the ordinary man positively, so government need for go stick to sense so by the advice what they give you and will not for do facade. Now let's also take a look at employment, the wage bill, all down they strain the economy. The minister self go believe say maybe then go they advise government as to how then they employ. Who been there today? APC, they say we don't put this country into austerity just because we talk say no, let's stop recruitment. We've been getting about vacancies, boku vacancies in our NRA will not recruit or not employ. We've been getting a Ministry of Education under Dr. Ba will not employ. SLPP where they can the first way they do now for employ massively. Now all the vacancies, why we been do that now? Because we been no sale for employ, it strain the economy because the wage bill they over bloated. Right. And when you over bloated, the economy they strain. Now then conditions and they all will be look. Then we say austerity where them they refer say APC don't have this country into austerity. What is now they be mean? Now for cut down on government expenditure. We say if you be the make workshop now 5-star hotel, now make an young conference now ministry, department or agency. All of that they tell you say APC now a better alternative for big government in this country. Right. Because we get the people they attack and when they look at the constraint where the people and they go through. Now we they spend beaucoup money per education. It go also interesting for listening to waiting at development partners their advice. In education, the kind of money they spend per education. Now if we divide our own money, annual expenditure into 4, right. Education gets about 24-25%. Now in one grade don't take almost half of that money day. Then you consider other areas there. We get a lot of nurses that would work will not get pin code, that they complain every day. So how the economy now go now trickle down for benefit them people and the doctors and the strike on a daily basis. I wonder if the schools and get for open on time because we don't scan the environment. A lot of grumble there around by teachers them will even get the potential for strike and that go affect to Pekin. All this boil down to the economy. So it is not just a matter of the figures, yeah. And for the old currency who been the use, why I say the exchange rates now being 6,000. Well, last year maybe 6 leons for let the minister be very comfortable, but now 28 leons. Now so me change the last ever change not too long ago, about 24 hours ago. That was yesterday or so. So we need for no all lengthen in the.
All right. Yeah. Plenty thank you, Minkailu, but from time to time we go the couch in the studio because Radio Democracy look extensively on the president's speech and issue we get for do with the economy. Mr. Minister, we get a very important message. Somebody say rice produced in some country. Wow. Please ask the minister to point out a single industrial rice farm in the country and how did they get all that rice when 80% of farmers in the country are an average of 1 acre. The Feed Salon initiative is a total failure. FSRP funding of $120 million is in its 3rd year with absolutely nothing to show for it. The minister will not tell you how much fund have they collected on imported rice because it is not there. As the minister asks him to tell how much government have spent to date on agriculture rather than relying on donor or relying on donor funds.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So maybe the way for proceed, if I for respond to waiting the gentleman they say around rice and the feed salon, the Minister of Agriculture is in a better place to go into the details of that program. But my understanding from the policy point of view, one for make sure say we get rice production or farming in the country, now a commercial activity, now business. But for there we able for build farms now Sierra Leone, government for de-risk the sector. What do we mean by that? Government get for invest in developing those farms, the irrigation, storehouses, but also make sure that there is access to road energy, yeah, and power. Now they make the private sector able to thrive. The current state of play of agriculture, now we want change in the country. But Kulande, people that do agriculture but not subsistence in the country. So the vision of the president now for redirect the minds of Sierra Leonean around how for approach agriculture. So now we get that first post. Another change overnight, now vision. The vision gets a start point, and that start point now we don't begin tackle. Now, when you talk about rice produced locally and rice imported, we import more rice into the country than we produce for we say, but the rest we eat. And it's not around there. Every human being, you go from try for be self-reliant as much as you can. So we say for let you incentivize we own farmers, we be get zero import duty on rice. We say that don't make sense because that money there now foreign farmers then are they incentivize. And they incentivize people there for import more at cheaper price at the expense of we on the naira. Now we could say increase to the original level we be when at 10%. Well, Parliament in their own wisdom and they make law. They say take and small. So do a stepwise. So implement 5% of import duty on rice imported into Sierra Leone. Why? For create room for invest in the sector. That's the reason why. Second, and make sure say over time we go increase to 10%. That money for bring revenue inside. And then we use those resources for do what? Do the investment here for make sure say agriculture attractive. Now, when it comes to, so you say we'll not get any industrial farm. Maybe we don't get there yet. But we don't identify 6 ecologies in this country who feel say that really very appropriate for the government for develop and invest and make sure say our farmers have access to technology capital, but also they are giving the know-how on how to farm at industrial scale. That's not the approach. I mean, I'm not denying what the observer, national observer, they say. We have not got there yet. But that's how you build a nation. Okay. You build a nation by making people understand the vision, how to do things. Doesn't change overnight. And that's the process that we are on. Now, my colleague spoke about the budget and spending of presidents. I really want for Tikam. Not so president no more we spend part of the budget. So you know more. We spend per several other entities in the budget. The budgets, they take charge of the entire country. But the presidency, you say the presidency is not an operational arm.
Service delivery.
It's not a service delivery. How can that not be the case? He spearheads the transformation of the state. Yeah? And then he engages internationally. That's the way we are running the economy. That's how he wants to run the economy. He leads in many engagement internationally, whether it has to do with mobilization of resources. He supports. He goes out, he changes the image of the country and represents this country's image internationally.
Right.
He has international responsibilities that other leaders in many other international organizations bestowed upon him. Less than 10 million population country. Okay? Your leader is accorded global leadership in leading institution. He is expected to be there to spearhead the image of the nation.
So recently,
we should provision, we should provision appropriately for the carrying of that image of the state. That pride we must have, not to denigrate it by saying the budget given to him is plenty. That's not the approach that we use.
So recently we see the president and the ECOWAS missions them. Now the states they fund them on ECOWAS.
Partly. So partly. So ECOWAS, they refund government. Some percentage of what they call the levies on all customs related issues. With the ECOWAS, they levy in every given country. Right. When president travel, with the catalog they travel. When we reach the size of what that is, equivalent to come to Sierra Leone, then when they send the report, then they refund the country. But the country where you take responsibility, this is a president, this is it's a nation, it's a country, independent country, yeah, a republic. So in our sovereign rights, we get the responsibility for maintaining the integrity, image, and character and respectability of the state. So we too carry that office with him. That's why we provision for it. We are not a poor nation. We may have fiscal constraints, but within those fiscal constraints, we maintain respectability. So not a poor nation.
But
the government,
different reporting the position Salo as poor country.
The government, Sierra Leone is not a poor nation. And I must say this very clear, we are not, by virtue of what we have. And that's why government after government, aspirations of leaders, now for harness those resources appropriately for transform the narrative. We are not. Governments are poor because the governments are not harnessing effectively. That's why we are constrained. And you have limited number of period of time for re-engineer your programs and bring yourself and address them problem here. Right. That's what we try to get power for.
Okay.
So let me come. So we provision for the leader, yeah? For the leader for carry that image, and it is our responsibility to do it. Okay. That's how. So let's don't play around with this. We are funding many other aspects of running the administration. Okay. We pay with debt. We will not ever default on debt. That's one. Second, we run with administration and pay salaries. He spoke about wage bill. The wage bill is 25% of the total budget. It is below 4% of GDP of our costs. We have been paying the wage bill. Is not a burden on government. Okay. What we need to do is make sure that we raise enough revenue. Yeah, with the handle wage bill, we not ever renege on it. However, we need for increase more revenue for take care of several other responsibility, which is very important for the government. Social program, infrastructure, run the administration, international image of the nation, via embassies and the like. That's our responsibility.
It's Minkai, we'll come over to you quickly, but we just want to clarify something quick with the minister. We'll go round up with you. Mr. Minister, what's in the happen with government and Gento? We get for do with one agreement. We see recently. Okay. And we cannot distribute somebody
on the record very straight to this nation. Mining. We are a mining nation. We're a mining country. We're a mining country. Mines have started in the since 1930 in Sierra Leone. But today, everybody go agree with me. Mining not don't serve we right as Sierra Leone. Yeah? Mining not serve we right. Me we see so. My papa work in NDMC. I grew up in NDMC, about grew up in NDMC, and I know what happened those days in NDMC when government be the commercially participate in the mining of diamonds. We get 51%, government, the DBRs and get 49%. But look at what has happened over time. We have private sector participation fully in mining since the 80s. Yeah, that's what we have. Then the state they do what we call concession model, wherein we concession out minerals to private people, and then we rely on we laws and say we can able to pass the law, forgive the mining lease agreement, where they pay purely royalties to the state, and then we rely on other taxes, PAYE, corporate tax, and the like, yeah, for coming. Well, we're very weak for do. And so we don't realize, say, at every year, and I will give you latest figure even as of last year, where we export over $1.something billion, $1.6 billion exports for minerals, exports in this country. Only 60 million can directly into the budget. Please, that is unacceptable. Now, what happened with this government since 2019? What we do is that we try to understand truly beyond all waiting below the geological survey. What is the resource base of Sierra Leone? We do a geophysical survey of all this country and map them. We now know so we get plenty mineral resources at scale than was before. We try for re-engineer the laws. Yeah, re-engineer the laws for make the sector very proper. But and then we make sure say state participation is important. Now, state commercial participation in mining, now the new way for go, that is President's vision. Now the new way for go is that how do we move very strategically, honoring existing concessions law that have been given because they run over years, that so the current companies therefore mine. But change the narrative around. One, now that we know what we have, And we know how strategic they are. The world is changing. People not give free money again to countries no more so. The developing world are engineering the way they look at how to engage in development activities. We need to sit down and think through ourselves. If we are a mining nation, how do we make sure that our mining work for ourselves? Across the country, nearly every district get resource. So President said, listen, Cheku, you don't come, we get this data. How do we think about it? So first model we come, we say, all right, we need to ensure that there is a model of mineral collateralization with state commercial participation. This is the model. We're doing this very slowly. So what do you do? We set up the, because there's a lacuna in the law where the government does not participate. The government does not commercially participate. We take the minerals and we give to individuals that goes on, then the organ safe. Then they go and they keep and they pass them from one Juman to another one to another one. And that's how it has been in this country since time. So what Hechi said was that let's re-engineer the system. So we don't set up a mining corporation. The mining corporation will allow government for commercially participate in mining and work with our people to make sure that we mine. Yeah, I heard the gentleman who said we are not engaging. What I did, I'm senior minister of government. What I did is to engage the community, but I'll come to that. So what we do is we set up this corporation, but because of the current level of debt, yeah, the government gets an understanding with international partners where Sierra Leone, until we get, I'm coming fast. Well, I'll give you a chance. Some of these things are very important to discuss. I know the time in the radio, but let's lay it out to the people. So because we get this corporation, we're not able for go take debt as a government. Now commercial debts then, because we get limits. Now concessional debt we they take internationally, and because we don't become investment grade yet, government itself cannot go to a bank, commercial bank or international credit market and raise volumes of cash needed to do investments in mining. So with the government through the corporation set up a special project company under the Mineral Wealth Fund. The Mineral Wealth Fund is a private entity 100% owned by government as a special purpose vehicle, wherein through then they will acquire assets to for. We put her inside there, they operate like a company. We get a portfolio of assets. Then they go now, they enter joint venture with private entities, with government having majority share. Government commercially participates in mining. Now, what happened? The first asset, we don't do this study on the entire economy, we'll know exactly. Government passed through the regulation, it accord KASAFONI allocated to the government of Sierra Leone. No other person individual by that law, the regulation always sit on a parliament for 21 days. Nobody, government say not get interest, and that anybody will go to the place and go to the people and say he want to take the land, it's null and void. So now what Gento did,
process and the procedure.
No, let me explain Gento. This law has passed over a year or two ago. Yeah? Then the regulation came into force. When the regulation came into force, government intent was very clear that government is interested for the people of Sierra Leone to undertake mining activity of KASAFONI for and on behalf of the state to develop the country. Now KASAFONI deposits are powerful deposits. We get iron where they don't prospect, but there are other deposits than they what we get for prospect and use for the state. Gento know about this. We don't get partners. That's one. We don't raise funds. That's two. We never do what they call feasibility study and acquisition of all the license. We don't do them by force. For let you get license, the processes and procedures you go through. You get community engagement for get land lease from the people. You do what they call ESHA, one of the environmental and social impact assessment studies. You ensure that you do what they call feasibility study with mine plan. The feasibility studies and the prospects that you're able for mine, all only they take time. So you have to go do take survey, drill, verify, do all that. Now process. So in all that process, what we do? We don't do as a country, as government, under the mining corporation and the Mineral Wealth Fund, we will do and go engage the people then. Now, before we go engage, then data here come out. People they hear the data, then take and say now opportunity, then go cross cut before, go to the people, go engage the people, and then go say that then get the list. So the one man grab go say, now get KASAFONI, now get from the young chiefdom, now get Dansongoya, now get Sambaya, now personal property, and then he turn around to come to us to go and negotiate with him. You did it with a fraudulent intent. That's my own orientation, and it's not will pass by law because it's null and void. Let me come really. I want the people to know this. What he did is wrong and it is not correct, and I'm saying this. And he wanted also to negotiate with him at the expense of the people.
I said individual.
What?
This
But Gento group, it's all in the paper. It's and the parliamentarian, when I just entered the studio, was alluding to the same issue. Now I just to put the record straight. What we are doing is for the people. So I went over the weekend to hold community engagement Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the 3 chiefdoms beginning from there, Sambaya and then Songaya. I go meet the chiefs, the land owning family, and the entire government architecture at the chiefdom level, and tell them the intent of the president and the government of Sierra Leone for the people of Sierra Leone. We go meet them, no coercion. I'm going representing, I'm a very senior minister of state. I'm going there representing the president's voice. I went there with all the protection required. No coercion of anybody.
Why Minister of Mines not been there among now?
Because that's where they go apply, but mines officials were there. Now this is a process of engagement. You don't need for Dede. Now the government they go acquire license from the minister.
We are applying so the people. Why the plenty soldier and police and
let me protection. I'm a minister.
You mean scared?
I'm scared of nothing. I had protection. It's basically I'm going. I have protection. That you should not worry about that.
But even the agreement, the minister not been the China minister of mines.
There were mining officials there.
But why the minister?
The ministry is represented.
I don't stay aside from.
He did not stay. He's a member. Let me make this clear. The minister of mines is a regular attending member of the board of these two entities.
But to get issue with this agreement,
he has no issue. To my knowledge, he has no issue.
So it's not the fate of Gento at this moment.
What Gento did is null and void. It's illegal. It's with fraudulent intent, and I'm saying this. They can go and prove it in court. That's my orientation as a Sierra Leonean. There is a law that allocated by Parliament this asset to the state, and state intend to do mining. The state, and the truth is this. According to the Mining Act, I understand, you can go and have a lease agreement as many as possible with community if you are private people. Okay? But government had expressed its interest here by law. And then pass a law that says anybody will go lease land this, that, in all and void. In my view, in all and void. But the truth is this, in other individuals, they can go and get mining lease agreement. The people not do wrong, they can go because they not be fully understand what is happen in this space. And we forgive all that process there. You can go get mining lease, you can go get my land lease agreement. The entity will end up get the mining license. Now in your mining license and land lease agreement, now authentic. Yeah. So for me on point of view, what's in ever Gento do now null and void.
So let's go to the Mount View. Would I add this Mount View and what's in a relationship with the SLMDC? Mount View
is a management service advisor to the government.
The
model was
from Musai
and international partners.
From
I don't hear all this talk around this. We don't disabuse this matter a long time ago. Mount View has an agreement passed in Parliament, approved in Cabinet, for provide advisory services to the government for structure this state commercial participation in the mining sector. That's it. So I don't know what all this talk about. It's advisory. Like you get any management advisor. This are company with advice, and they work with SRK. SRK is the most reputable exploration company in Cardiff, UK, in the world. Yeah, so we are working with these people. They are part of the team advising us. This is serious. It is not. We are not joking here.
And now people get concerned that this Mount View are foreign business outfits, but at the end of the day, they work by percentage. When they give them percentage, why is not headed by Sierra Leonean?
No, the Mineral Wealth Fund is headed by Sierra Leonean. The Mining Corporation is headed by Sierra Leonean. We get a management service advisor.
But why not a Sierra Leonean?
We go find the best international advisor for structure this transaction.
Competent person or company no day.
Well, tell me which most competent Sierra Leonean we don't set up structures like this. I only know about Tunde Kong that has recently got Sierra Rutile. Yeah, and even himself, he's trying to raise money internationally. That's we can support him. But really, all the mines within this nation, what we have done, which we are trying to correct as a government, we gave them to individuals. We are re-engineering that structure. But people will advise you, because even for mining, we mine in the wood dunaya. I'm falling out in the drum for people. You don't get the machine, you don't get the know-how, you don't get the capital reasonably enough in the system. There are people who work in mine, geologists, we go drive trucks and the like, go to help for do survey. But the re-engineering of it, and knowing exactly what comes out of it and that business. Well, I want to see the very successful singular mine owned by Sierra Leone, and it's not there, and that's what we are changing.
Would I left in Mr. Minister? My colleague earlier asked you about Gento in faith, and if you talk to the Gento group of companies, we see them don't begin make road for the people, and as you get from the honourable member, they don't pay surface rents. Government get for refund this couple?
I don't know. This is money he gave to the people. I don't know. He paid, and he didn't know in the law. I don't know about it. Sincerely, I don't know. For me, as far as me concerned, I don't know the road he made. I went to Dansongaya in these places. Sincerely, as a Minister of Finance, I'm touched. Yeah? And there are companies working there, they have corporate social responsibility. I'm touched. And that's why when I went there, I spoke to the people. I said, what we are trying to do as a country. Now, we say as Sierra Leonean. Therefore, agree amongst we say for build this nation. Nobody on the come outside can do, and that's one. Second, no one individual label bill for we. No one individual. Right. Now we get for come together and bill, but let me close because I think I left the space for my colleague. Let me close. I will close on the following. One, that this country would run, this economy right now, we own orientation and for make sure say it's stable because of the foundation where you lay for people to mobilize and get confidence for bring resources into the country for invest. That's one. And also with I'm very, very much comfortable with the rate pace at which they go and the trajectory we get for correct. Our partners advise, they review, and I agree, they will review, they assess, they advise. We yield to the advice and appropriate with seriousness, try for deliver on those advice, and that's where the trajectory we are going to.
Okay.
Finally, let people then get hope. I have very solid hope for transformation of Sierra Leone because for the final time, we have actually consolidated our thoughts around who we are, what we have, and how we must use them very effectively for really re-engineer our country and reinvest. I believe we are a mining country. I hear people say diversification and the like. You diversify when you have effectively exploited the one of the most powerful resource where you get to use that very well. Okay. Now that resource from that side, now you take for invest into other sector we get economic capacity. All can go on concurrently. But I tell people, Sierra Leone, we're a mining nation. It is the mines. It's easy to turn around the mines within a short period of time. Okay. And then you take up for invest in other things like farms, build roads. We're able to create the economic dynamism required for us to transform very quickly.
Thank you for joining inside the program.
Thank you.
Mr. Mikhailo, we don't overtime inside the program, but shortly.
Yes, but it be necessary. You see, I came from Tonkolili. Now that make patiently as you don't listen where the minister they talk. And I appreciate the fact they be able to provide the required explanation, like clear understanding day. Now we take a look at IMF Climate Policy Diagnostic Report 2024. They also advise really on mining. What they want to for do. Now when you go to Tonkolili, there is a river we pass through Maboroka, you go Kolifa Mabang. That river then that water the people that be use for drink. But this mining don't affect adversely to a point that the water self now really sees itself now. We see a fiber poto. It what I think the government need for put further correction measures in place for address this mining sector. You know the challenges there are many. So I mean I don't mind for long I give that time day to the minister, make it explain clearly. But to conclude, Sierra Leone, the minister say will not poor. I agree with them based on the resources so we're not supposed to be poor. But we check Sierra Leone day inside the first 10 poorest countries in the world. We mean say there is a lot we need for do as a country and as a government. Make we actually day now the take-off stage of development. The minister also talk about the money that he say not to president no more that they give money. And I not indicate saying a president no more that they allocate money to. I say the money they allocate to president based on the supplementary budget. It pass Boko other department, ministries and agencies. Yeah. And office of the president also get the secretary to president. He gets office of the chief minister, all the other office of the president. Yeah, and the chief minister said, "I get permanent secretary." So that money that they all put together, not too small money there. Now, IMF, both IMF and World Bank, they acknowledge government effort, how they don't control inflation. The new development plan, they also acknowledge government on fees alone, but then criticize government on the following. One, they say poor fiscal discipline and transparency, weak institution and anti-corruption enforcement, over-reliance on external borrowing, failure to deliver tangible improvement in livelihood despite high spending. So when they talk about livelihood, this is important to me past every other thing.
Okay.
Because on a daily basis, people and this, scout for waiting and they eat. Some man they wake 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning for go fed for wetin they eat. He go don drag all day, wey calculate wetin make for the day, not even enough for pull chop money na house, and give lunch to him pikin dem for go school. We dey talk about free quality education. Ask parents dem wey just admit dem pikin dem wey don transition from primary to secondary school, wetin are the charges wey dem ask dem, how many thousand loans dem pay. Well, I dey avoid for say millions because we dey now operate in the new currency, but dem go tell you say I pay 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 for let dem transition me pikin from primary to secondary. All that need dey affect. The president say free quality education, but again school administration ministry go don say for uniform na this dem for pay, for tie na this dem for pay, but at the end of the day dem dey count some economic burden on the people. This not get to do with presidents no more, or government, but even the people at the lower level. Now other side them, they also they do something where they affect people and we get an impact on the economy.
Okay, plenty thank you for joining inside the program, Minkailo. Mr. Minister, somebody in our Facebook page, you say you need for pay for the last minutes there your time because very important to get the democracy. And we are counting the under go give invoice before you go, sir.
I expect this station, they appreciate the job when they do. And I think when they do a very excellent job and when I fair, I'm happy with the exchange between me and my colleague Naya. I think this is not the way we for build this nation. Thank you very much.
Plenty thank you for joining inside the program. Well, Naya go do the cutting.